Woo! Hello, world. It is Friday or Friday. Whatever you want to say, this is Americana. I'm Willie Montague.
And I'm Shakhea Hinton.
You already know here, we go beyond the noise, where policy meets real life and leadership is judged by impact, not headlines. No talking points, no spin, just what matters. Sticking there with us, this is Americana. Because it is Friday, this is going to be a good day. Today's show, the Trump administration moves to defund transgender medical care. The Epstein files, I know we love hearing about that, hit a critical deadline, and America faces a hard question. Has activism replaced governance? Plus, sparks fly as Turning Point USA is now having a conference, and the one and only Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson has clashed over the future of MAGA. This shall be interesting. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. Trump admin is cutting off some transgender funding, and I'm excited about this conversation because, as I said before, the Trump administration is moving to block federal Medicaid, Medicare funding for gender-affirming care for minors, a major policy shift. Why are the Democrats coming for our children?
It's not children, it's medical care.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
It's Friday, Shakhea.
I'm not arguing with you. I am very calm.
But it is for minors. Even though you're saying it's for care, it's still about minors, about transgender affirming care for minors.
I understand that. So where does the parental rights come into play? Like, I don't think, and I've said this when it comes to abortion care, you and I have had an extensive conversation about that last year, right? But when it comes to medical care across the board, I don't think government should have a say with what a family decides to do for their family. That's my stance.
Okay, so I'm with you with that, but where does that tie into? If that's the case, then don't use part of my taxpaying dollars to chop your kid's dick off. What you need to do is use your own money and pay for it, not my tax dollars.
That's fair. But when you have a high number of children who are being bullied because of their identity, and the depression rate is through the roof, social media is adding to that, what else would you prescribe a parent or a family to do for their child who says that they feel like they identify with a certain gender?
When we grew up, and there were individuals that may had identity issues, we sat down with them and this was even with Mr. Rogers. I watched the episode even during that time where he explained what a boy is and what a girl is. Just because we know that as kids grow up, they are learning, especially little ones. But there's a certain degree where parents should have the know-all to be able to say, listen, Johnny, you don't have the woman anatomy. Listen, Susan, you don't have the male anatomy. What I'm getting to is you do what you want to at your home, but the taxpayers should not be responsible because Medicaid and Medicare is funded through our tax dollars. I personally do not want not one penny of my tax dollars to go towards this. It is mutilating children.
That is fair. Now, as for me in my house, if my children were to grow up and say, Mommy, I was born a boy, but I want to be a girl, I will walk through life with them, but I would not encourage them to change their anatomy until they're an adult. That is how I would rule my own house. Now, as far as the government telling the family what they should and should not do for their child, I think that's inappropriate and out of line. Now, when you talk about federal tax dollars going to this type of surgery, it's not just about surgery. It's also about hormones. It's about puberty blockers. It's not just about them transitioning to be a different gender. Sometimes you have kids who are born as with two genitals. I'll say that, hermaphrodite, right? They need certain medication to assist with that type of transitioning. Not to say that they want to be both genders, right? But whatever medically they need, that is under puberty blockers, that is under the transgender or the gender-affirming care that they would need. In addition to that, aside from the transgender conversation, I do think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that male enhancements, and not even male enhancements, but erectile dysfunction also falls under that. Is that correct? Does Medicare or Medicaid
I don't know about
cover that?
I know that people I've spoke to that has suffered with that. I think that's something that is considered cosmetic. It's not necessarily, that's where we have to draw the line, because even if I want
erectile dysfunction is considered cosmetic?
Well, because you're fixing your own penis. You don't.
It's sexual health.
But okay, so if it is including that still, I would not be for that either. It wouldn't matter whether it was for the minors and transgender or for a male trying to.
I just want to make sure.
To get aroused.
I just want to see where you are across the board, because sometimes you are very, one-sided on things, and it doesn't cross the board.
I'm not one-sided when it comes to that, because at the end of the day, if you have problems with getting erected, then you need to go and seek some naturopathic doctor or drink some water and get some herbs.
It's Friday. I'm not doing this with you today, Willie.
It is Friday.
Christmas in a couple of days.
Deadline for Epstein files. After 30 days, the deadline for the release of the Epstein files have finally arrived.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm just shocked that here we are.
You already start right off.
I am shocked.
Okay.
I am shocked that not all of the files have been released as requested. They are doing it actually in increments. So there's a couple 100,000 files that will be released, I think, today, and then there's more to come down the line. I thought that they were supposed to release all of them, redacted or unredacted. But from what I was told from resources, they said that a lot of the holdup is because they're trying to protect the victims. Some, I can believe that. Others, I just think that there is still some type of protection of the pedophiles. Yes,
the ones that are biting and all those individuals. Surely you're not trying to allude that President Trump is part of the Epstein files.
I am alluding to that. I'm not alluding. I am actually saying it. I do believe that President Trump is a part of those files.
She had to look at.
I want to look y'all dead in the face so y'all won't get nothing confused. Yes, I am saying that. But in addition, this isn't party affiliated. I want to make that clear to you too. I want to hold everybody accountable, whether they are independent, Republican, Green Party, New Deal, Democrats, all the above. I need everyone to be held accountable for their actions for raping and molesting children.
Now, I agree 100%. My take is that put them in the middle of the street, castrate them, and put a bullet through the head. That's what I believe.
Why are you so violent?
I'm not violent.
You are violent.
If we got back,
I feel like you were born in the wrong century.
Well, it may be. But I feel like if we get back to that, more people would less likely want to go out and do something that way to children. If you know that your fate is going to be for me to chop your testicles off and put a bullet through your head, I guarantee you the next man or woman
so you're going to die without your genitals.
You're going to die without them. The same thing that caused you to be disgusting and nasty is the same thing you'll be holding in your hand on your way going on up a yonder.
Mercy. What century do you think you were supposed to be born in,
I don't know. Whichever one was not going to kill me quickly. I had to live a couple of more years.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of these files, right, why do you think the DOJ is releasing it in increments?
I do think they're trying to comb through it. I think they're trying to comb through it to make sure that it's not, one, going to harm the victims, but also because when you release this, I'll never forget when I was, was in high school, and I had this whole thing of if I ever run for president, I'm going to go and expose everything that people don't talk about. And they were like, well, Willie, that really doesn't happen that way, because there are some things that are, what would be the word? There's some things that is necessary for confidentiality, because those type of secrets get out, it could harm America and the citizens. And so I think that to that, this can make something that we may not be able to come back from.
Now, do you think that's part of the reason why Speaker Mike Johnson sent everybody home yesterday, so that they won't have to really face what's in those files?
Yeah, but
today?
Eventually they have to come back from recess. I've never seen, we're going to talk about this later on, I've never seen a Congress like this one that has not been working. Like, this is the laziest group of members of Congress on both sides that I have ever seen in my entire life. So I don't know what they're going to do, but well, I have my own opinion about that. I'm going to let that go. Anyway, I think it's about time for us to go.
Wow, you got self-control today. Huh?
Yeah, self-control.
What is happening?
I've been reading my Bible.
I'm so proud of you.
One of the fruit of the spirit, y'all get it. But it is commercial break time, all right? So when we get back, we're going to talk about, has activism replaced true governance, and what is going on with Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson.
Ooh.
They had a clash at Turning Point
My
USA
God.
Conference. But don't go anywhere. You're going to have to stay tuned here on Americana.
Proud of you.
Please.
Man, you saying dicks in here? Sorry, y'all. He didn't.
I'm sorry.
He said dicks. He meant.
All right, well, welcome back to Americana. It's definitely a Friday. So over the last decade, politics has shifted from lawmaking to loud moments. Now, this is going to definitely be interesting because according to the Pew Research, more than 60% of Americans have elected officials focus too much on social media and not enough on governing. Congressional productivity backs that up. This 118th Congress, you guys, passed fewer major bills than any Congress in modern history. It is a shame. Meanwhile, members of Congress are posting, performing, and going viral while problems like housing, inflation, and crime remain unsolved, and they're having concerts. But nonetheless, let's...
I really want.
Why are you looking at me like that? First of all, y'all see how she's looking at me? Why are you looking at me? What? Yes, let's.
I only raised an eyebrow at you because of your last statement, and I really want you to either put this to rest in 2025.
I'm gonna let it go.
Or we have a full-out discussion about your last comment. We could table it because I don't want us to get derailed.
We're not gonna get derailed. We'll go there.
Okay.
I am gonna let it go in 2025.
Okay.
By December 31st, though.
Okay.
But however, with that being said, I have never seen such a lazy Congress I've ever seen. The 118th Congress is to me, it's lazy, but it is, you do have to admit, it is a whole lot of like social media shenanigans where compared to those that in the 116th, I've seen there was some work done, but what do we do when people want people to lead versus being on social media all the time?
I think they are moving with the times. I think one scale is receiving more attention than the other, right? So I would have to agree with you. I don't think it's laziness rather than it's prideful. I think a lot of pride is at stake, which is why policy isn't being moved on both sides of the aisle. No one wants to bend the knee, right? Because no one wants to come off as weak. But there has to be a level of balance. And right now we're not seeing the balance. But I do want to point out that activism, and you mentioned something about loud moments, right? I think both go hand in hand. And the reason for that is because if you think about the civil rights movement, you had to have the activists in the streets. You had to have the protest in order to get the legislation to pass.
But was the activist the politician, or was that separate? Because Martin Luther King never held office. He was an activist, but he wasn't a politician. That's why I'm thinking that these results, these stats are saying there's a problem because now they're coming together. Like people are an activist politician.
I think if he hadn't been assassinated, I think his trajectory would have led him to the White House or either the State House in Georgia. But you have people like Shirley Chisholm.
Yes.
She was both an activist and she was the first Black woman in Congress. So I think both go hand in hand. I just think now social media is outweighing that because you're getting a lot of the new voters, the Gen Zers, the Alphas, all of the other ones, right, who are prone to more social media. So politicians are now speaking their language to pull them in, whereas millennials, we're caught in between both worlds. Like, we know what it's like without social media, and we know what it's like to actually protest and stuff in the street.
So during VP Harris's time,
Kamala.
Y'all never get it right.
Or you can just say VP Harris. You did well.
I was trying.
You're doing fine. We're doing good. All right, keep it up.
So, so during her time, though, did you not think that a lot of what she was doing as far as all these concert things kind of slowed her down in that path forward?
I don't think
it was a lot of stage presence for other than herself.
And it had to be because of the runway that she was given. It was a short runway. So yes, and I think she oversold herself on stages and appealing to young voters because she was trying to win the swing vote of white women based off of like the healthcare and the reproduction campaign, right? I think she went overboard on that. But white women stuck with what they knew and what most of their husbands encouraged, which is a very conservative vote. So she lost that.
She thought those concerts were going to win white women?
No, not. She thought that the abortion rah would have won the white women, in my opinion. But the concerts were trying to appeal to the younger voter, and it just did not meet.
You know, this is a sidebar because I have to say it.
Don't piss me off today. We've been doing really well.
I have to say it.
Okay.
If this generation is won over by thoughtish, hoish behavior, then we have another problem in the United States of America. And it's not the politicians, it goes back to the home. Because if my children is going to vote for someone because they're listening to Cardi B, WAP, and they're watching Lil Nas X walk half naked down the street, and that's supposed to be the example that our generation has, and we'd send them to concerts, to parade as a political figure, we have really lost where we are. So
I would add to that, if that is your take, my take
Lord
is
Jesus.
If we have a president who is able to grab a woman by her vagina and get away with it, and possibly be in these Epstein files, then we are really lost as a country. If
Well,
I didn't interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I let you finish with your bull stuff today. I did, right? You comparing our generation and that we're lost as a country because of influencers and rap artists like Cardi B and all those folks, right? I would then hold your party to the same standard. We have a president, a sitting president, who with his mouth berates, belittles, and insults anyone who goes against what he says publicly, and there's no accountability. So let there be accountability for the Cardi B's and the WAPs when Trump also grabs WAPs. He likes WAPs.
Well, I think that the reason why so many women
Does he not?
So many women are jealous of that because he didn't grab their WAPs. So moving on.
This is the misogyny.
Ben Shapiro.
Don't skip past that. Don't skip past that.
Ben Shapiro, you
Ooh,
started
y'all so nasty.
Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson clashed at Turning Point. The two men, they had took to the stage. They have come after each other. We're going to cut right to it. Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson has a different definition of what it means to be MAGA.
Yeah.
So
we've talked about this, last week or something, about like the different tiers within the Republican Party. Now, do you see this as a civil war within your camp?
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the Republican Party group don't really like Ben Shapiro as much because they feel like he is sold out to AIPAC and to the whole Jewish community and so forth.
Yeah, I can see that.
Gotta be careful with
that. Please.
So that's where that conflict is coming in, where you have like Tucker Carlson, who is like, you know, it is America first. We need to focus on what pertains to us. And then that's when the clash comes, because, you know, you got Candace Owens saying that Israel had part to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And then, you know.
friend.
But this is what is interesting. When I saw all of the people that will be, or is the conference over?
No, it's like a 4-day conference,
right.
I think.
And I went one year, and just anywho. But when I saw that, I was like, this is going to be an absolute disaster, because all it is a fundraising opportunity for Turning
Now,
Point.
do you think, yes. Now, do you think that Tucker Carlson's fan base were approving of him when he interviewed the little boy who we talked about last week, Fuentes, Nick?
Nick Fuentes.
Do you think that's when, like, his fan base went hysterical?
Maybe hysterical in a good way or bad way?
In a bad way, like negatively.
Well, probably so. Nick Fuentes is a racist.
Yeah.
And so once you put him anywhere near you, you are just absolutely going to be, you know, just.
And Charlie Kirk
demonized.
didn't approve of him, right?
I don't think Charlie Kirk would. No sane Republican that is trying to get anywhere in politics would want to be around Nick Fuentes. Unless you really want to be that person. Now, if you want to be known as...
He is MAGA.
No, he is America First, which is actually the real foundation of America First is a racist organization.
So white supremacy.
Yes, I would say that.
Mercy.
But I do have myself up with a picture that says White Lives Matter.
Now, damn it,
and
Willie.
I'll bring that to you guys to
Willie.
see.
Now, Willie, wait. Okay, pause for real. So you have a picture that says White Lives Matter.
Not a picture. It's a whole banner with me out there with the Proud Boys.
Now, was this for... and I hate that we are short on time. I need you to explain this to me and tell me the why.
We will save this.
There's no saving this.
We're going to save it. We're going to leave it as a cliffhanger.
This is not a good cliffhanger.
Because we want people to feel energized, and then I'll bring the flag here for our new year.
And you were with the Proud Boys?
The Proud Boys, and I said this, I know we got to go to...
Willie, you know you black?
The Proud Boys was the ones that protected me when the black people were trying to kill... When the black people was trying to kill me. Let's talk about Negro crime.
Good. Willie.
The black folks...
Why do you hate do you hate yourself?
I love black people.
Is it self-hatred?
It's not self-hatred. I just tell it like it is.
I want us to talk really deeply in
Well, we're going to talk about that. But sometimes these nigglets, they don't know how to respect.
My God.
That's Americana.
This is how we end it.
Real talk, no spin. I'm Willie Montague.
I'm Shakhea Hinton.
All right, you guys. That's it. Enjoy your weekend. We'll be here on AFRO TV. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.